Hi, I'm Robert Estrin. You're watching part 2 of the Chopin G minor Ballade complete tutorial here on livingpianos.com. I'm Robert Estrin. So, we ended up with getting into the glorious theme that just when I played in the introduction, you probably recognize already where that was going to go. And so I'm going to just show you. And the beautiful theme. But now we have it in all its grandiose glory. Listen to what Chopin does with this. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on there. Let's start with this massive chord section. Isn't it amazing how that same theme takes such a completely different character from the poetic to the heroic? Just in a different key, he goes from E flat major to A major, tritone away, so it already sounds different in the different key, but with the voicing and the big chords. So you once again, it's a familiar theme. You must practice without the pedal to get these chords. Now, the secret to getting this power out of the chords and never getting a harsh sound is always play from the surface of the keys. If you were to try to play this section and strike them from above, you get this ugly, harsh sound. But when you play from the surface of the keys, dropping all the weight, touching the keys, making sure they're not down at all, and then just release all of the weight of your arms at once. I hope you can hear the difference. Let me know in the comments here on livingpianos.com and YouTube. So, let's let you hear it without the pedal, and you'll hear the legato that you can achieve using the arm weight as I described from the surface of the keys. By playing legato that way, you get the beauty of the sound, never harshness. You could hear the difference. Before I was playing it, here's without the pedal. I can't even stand the sound of that when you caress the keys and dropping the weight of the arm. And you must strive to get the fingering that enables fingering that enables you to get as legato as possible, and you'll get a gorgeous sound in this section. At first, sacrifice a little bit of power on most of the notes, and you can just anchor the octaves, and you can get the illusion of power without having to use as much strength. Listen, I'm going to play without the pedal first, well, and then you'll hear how this cheat can work for you if you don't have the strength yet to really play everything equally loud. now I'm playing all the chords quietly. But the octave's big. And when you put the pedal in, listen how it sounds. Compared to playing everything loud, which is a little bit nicer, but not as different as you'd think. And you could come down here. Then back up. By the way, don't ignore those beautiful inner voices. You hear that in the right hand? It's a nice counter melody. And notice, once again, using fourth finger wherever you can on black keys, or even on white keys to get more legato. These are all techniques to really get a gorgeous sound here. And then, of course, it culminates on the top. And this, how do you practice this thing? Well, you could do this. Getting and raising. And that helps you to get Now, if you have trouble with this section, of course, working slowly, of course, the mainstays of practicing are working at a slow tempo, using metronome speeds, working things up, and the slow practice delineating everything. But when you've done all of that and you're trying to gain more fluency and speed, sometimes leaving out a note just so you get the feeling in your hand and then adding that note. Let me show you. So instead of or you could do the funny thing is, it's a hemiola. It goes off the beat. That's what's going on, but the rhythmically. Now this next section is so much fun. You've all heard it. How do you practice that? First, that's the way to practice it. And we'll also discover the best fingering by practicing it that way. Anytime you can reduce things to chords, it's a great way to find the best fingering and to understand the harmonic underpinnings of your music. So then once you can do it in thirds that way, then you go then you can do the opposite. Those are all different techniques, and you could do other techniques too. You could do that. Etc., etc. And by the way, all these practice techniques, I can show you 10 more techniques. The trick isn't to try every single practice technique there is known or imagined. It's to find the one that's going to enlighten you into how to play the passage. So it's not a matter of going through all these things. Use what works and ignore what doesn't. If you could just play it with metronome speeds and get it, great. But if you find that that doesn't do it alone, and you've done more slow practice and you can't get it, that's when you experiment with some of these rhythms, accents, and phrasings. This goes for this passage and really everything in this piece and everything in every difficult piece you study. It's a whole bag of tricks, or more accurately, techniques of practicing that you don't have to use all of them. You try to zero in on what is going to show you and teach you how to negotiate various passages. And then of course, here's another hemio. Now, this is what I'd recommend here, is practice just this. Then, so break it into those two separate chunks and get your hand where it can just do it. So that's the trick there. And then you can think that you're starting over when you put it together. See how I'm thinking? I'm showing you my thinking. You can hear my thought process of it. You're starting over. So even when you play it, without the hesitation there, you can think you're starting over there. And this is what I'm talking about in the last video, the first section of practice relaxation. You practice. So you practice getting practicing little chunks, and most importantly, when you get done with the chunk, being over the next note with total relaxation. Because otherwise, if you play this passage as one thing, well, I got it, but it was harder because I was pushing through the whole group of notes. Instead, you feel like you're starting over, and you never get that tense. How many of you, and leave it in the comments here, so when you're playing a passage like this, right in the middle, your hand cramps up and you don't feel like you have enough strength, and you wonder how other people have enough strength to negotiate a thing like this? Well, there are some pianists who practice, 8-10 hours a day, who develop enough strength to do almost anything, and they got massive hands, and yeah, strength alone can do it. I think of like Richter. I listen to the massive strength that man had in his playing, and it's mind-boggling. I think he could do just about anything he wanted with his hands. They were just so massively powerful. But for us mere mortals, we have to find other ways. And interestingly, some of the great pianists of the past, Joseph Levine, Joseph Hoffman, to name two from the golden era of piano, they didn't rely upon sheer strength. It was more that jewel-like control and relaxation that I'm describing. And here's the benefit to that. It not only helps you to play technically better and more effortlessly, but the sound is also gorgeous. Listen to some of the pianists who have that characteristic of that relaxation. Martha Argerich. Sure, she's got plenty of power, but there's a beauty to the tone because of a relaxed way of her approach to the keyboard. And that's what I'm trying to impart upon you. And the way to achieve it is by practicing note groups until they just they just glide off the hand and you get it, and then you feel the next note group as a starting over, and you always have these miniature, like it's taking a nap right in the middle of a difficult passage. You have that much relaxation throughout the entire piece, so you never get tired, your hand never gets cramped up. So that is really key. So let's see what else. Now with the fun. Now the fun really begins after this crazy stuff, right? And it goes fast and furiously from one technique to the other. So the first one, and a great way to practice it, once again, you can use the metronome. You could do that and master this passage by doing one notch at a time. And remember, when you're doing metronome speeds, don't raise the metronome a notch. And by the way, working one notch at a time is the way to go. I learned that from my wife. She practices flute and piccolo. One notch, I used to do two notches at a time, but you know what? One notch is much better because, first of all, you don't have to repeat the passage as many times, and you don't even feel one notch until a certain point, and then you start feeling it. It's so interesting once you try this. But it's not a matter of getting it perfectly and raising it a notch. That isn't enough. It's being able to play it perfectly and relaxed. If you're on the edge of the seat and you get it perfectly and it sounds fine, but you don't feel relaxed, you're not there yet. You've got to be able to just play it with absolute relaxation and confidence and security. That's when you raise the notch. And what's interesting, you'll find, if you've never done this kind of intensive work on the piano with a metronome, is at first you might struggle just to get it perfect and relaxed at all. And once you get it and you feel relaxed and you raise it a notch, and each notch seems to go painstakingly slowly, and then boom, before you know it, it's notch, 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 and it's coming along, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I got this thing up the tempo now. So don't rush the beginning of the process. Be solid as a rock before you raise it a notch, and then things will just happen for you. Try it. Once again, I want to hear from everybody how this works for you. So, is that the only way to practice it? Far from it. Now, you can do rhythms, you can do sections, you can do accents, phrasing. I mean, there's so many things. You know, one obvious thing is playing accents on the beats. And the reason why this is particularly helpful here is it's where the hands play together. So it identifies and solidifies the precision of the hands striking together. And when doing this, by the way, I know I keep stopping because there's so many things about the way you do this that really make a difference. If you were to do it by pushing with the arm, that doesn't have much value at all. It's your finger that's doing all the work, and even though you're playing slowly and usually with a slow melody, you use arm weight, but not here, because this is not a slow passage. So what you're trying to do is teach your hand what it's going to do up to tempo at a slow tempo, which is completely different. If this is a beautiful Chopin melody, like a nocturne, and you're using the arm weight, that won't scale to a faster speed. So it's just on the surface of the keys with no weight at all, and the finger provides the accents. And you can see as I go faster. And you could also do rhythms. And phrasing. And here again, normally, you know, on a slower thing, something slow, you'd use the wrist. But here again, not here, because that doesn't scale. You couldn't play it. The wrist isn't going to help you at the tempo that goes. So it's just a finger, a light finger staccato. So those are, and then, okay, How many different ways are there to practice this one passage? It's crazy, isn't it? I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, give it a thumbs up so more people get this video, because that's the way YouTube works. So, going ahead, once again. And of course, I'm doing this fast enough, but you could actually do, you know, and wait. It gives you time to think and to relax. And the key here is playing up to tempo, very, very few notes, because you can train your hand to the pattern so it'll click. So you train your hand to play up the speed, because sometimes the hardest thing, you can play something slowly, but how does it scale to go faster? Playing shorter note groups and training your hand so you get the pattern in your hand, and then you put patterns together in the manner I described. Once again, stopping just before, total relaxation over the next pattern, and then play that one. Great way to, so I think I've exhausted a bunch of ways to practice this. If anybody who have more ways of practicing this passage, leave them in the comments for everybody. This is a community effort, because I've found so many of you were asking me about something with a G minor ballade. So I imagine a lot of you out there have already worked on this piece. Some may have struggled with it. Some of you have epiphanies. Share them here. Let's get it going. Help everybody with this fantastic piece of music. So now, what's the next? Okay, okay, here. So, you have this rhythm in the left hand. And once again, the octaves using the fourth finger for the black keys. A great way to practice this is to exaggerate the rhythm, instead of making it an eighth rest and an eighth note, make it a dotted eighth rest and a 16th rest when you're playing slowly. That way, when you go faster. And by the way, notice what I'm doing again. I feel like I'm starting over each measure. So, knowing exactly where the hands play together, a big part of that is knowing exactly what precedes it. Stopping just before, fantastic way. And as I said, and incidentally, notice how I'm meticulous about following every dynamic marking. The crescendos and the accents, everything. Now we have another fun passage. So, once again, anytime things can be put into chords. And left hand, of course, using the fourth finger for the fluid octaves. Then, another way. So there's that. And another way, accent. That inner line, the double stem notes. And you could do rhythms. I think I did that one already, didn't I? How about phrasing? Find what solves the problems. You don't have to do all of these. Do whatever works, whatever gives you that epiphany, whatever shows your hand and your ears how to play the passage. I'm just showing you a whole bunch of different ones. Don't feel you have to do all these. Just find what works for you, all right? And that's pretty straightforward. Arpeggio. And again, exaggerate the shortness of the short notes. This is all just scale work. I mean, I'm not minimizing the difficulty, but there's just the techniques I've been showing you. Obviously, you just practice. You can do all these techniques throughout. Accent. Or you could do rhythms. Whatever. It's the same techniques I'm showing you again and again. I realize that. And that's the whole point, is that you see all different ways of practicing and you'll come to discover what works for you. And what's interesting, I'm showing you all these techniques because some of them are going to work for some of you and other techniques are going to work better. The secret is when you're practicing, when you hit that wall, the point of diminishing returns, you've done metronome speeds, you got as far as you can, try accents. Accents, you're still not getting it, try note groups. Still not getting it, try rhythms. Still not getting it, try different phrasings. You get the idea? Your practice should never be static. You should always be in a state of discovery. That's what it's about. It's not doing the same thing and hope like it's going to get better because you keep doing the same thing every day. You must try different things to get different results. Very important. So I'm showing you a bunch of them. You got a whole bunch to work on. Then you have, once again, practice without the pedal. Find good fingering for good legato. Then we have this fun. And there's Chopin with a 5 against 6, right? So basically, the way to practice this, when you're going slowly, a 5 against 6 is really hard to get it precise. So just practice this at first slowly, knowing which hands play, which notes play between whiches. Get the idea? I like to do the grace notes on the beat. Otherwise, you end up with this. You know, it would actually be a 6 against 6, wouldn't it? So the only way to make it work as a 5 against 6, otherwise that grace note becomes the 6th note if it's before the beat. Does that make sense? If you play every note with every note, then the grace note comes in. And you don't have the 5 against 6. So they alternate the hands. And on the beat. Theme comes back again. Climax. Okay, so where are we here? What can I show you about this? Yes. The climax, make sure you really sock that low B flat. Even if everything isn't so loud, if you get that low B flat octave, it's going to create the climax for you with just that one note. Here it is. And that high B flat. And that's such a cool part. And you know, it's so interesting to hear how different pianists negotiate that counter, that 4. And the trill. Make sure you measure your trill. You could even you could just do, you know, if you want to. I've heard people play it many different ways. The trill, you don't have to have a lot of notes. If you could just do E flat, F, E flat, fine. I put an extra one there. On the second one, I got this from my father, playing the second one a little quieter than the first one. And the second one, I think it sounds nice. You don't have to do it. Try it. If you like it, use it. And now we're over the climax. Change. And from here on in, now we're getting to the relaxation mode. And it just melts right back. The transition back to the main theme, make sure it's fluid and melodic. All right? And notice that, by the way, that I find that's a tricky passage, by the way. That's one of the parts in here that doesn't sound hard, but it actually is one of the trickiest passages in here, because there's no real good fingering. There's definitely fingerings that are better, but there's no logical 1, 2, 1. And you have to do a thumb to a thumb. And then, of course, you have the theme again. Now, here's the interesting thing. Of course, when you have the main theme, themes in different characters, whether grandiose or poetic, but this theme keeps coming back from the very beginning. Every time it comes in, it's a little bit different character, because it's a lived experience. It's like a person. I've always felt this piece is an entire person's life, and there's a maturity now. It's been through the trials and the tribulations, the ecstasy and the devastation. And now there's a maturity and a resignation to the theme. It's not going to be played the same it was at the very first time you heard it. That was the youth. That was the first time, the discovery of the theme. And it was just more like a beautiful aria. Now it's with the depth of understanding of almost the manic mood swings and life emotions that are in this music. And so the last time it comes in, it's got to have a different character to it, a different mood, more somber, maybe a little quieter, a little bit more reserved, maybe even a little bit slower. By the way, when you play these octaves, I mean, you generally want to bring out the top notes. But I think it sounds great to also have the lower note of the octave with a little bit more substance. So you really hear that octave. Okay, so then one more crazy passage, the sixth. Make sure you have good fingering. If you have good fingering, you're going to be able to play this. And remember, you don't have to make legato on both the bottom and the top. Sometimes you can. If you have good fingering, actually. And there's a way to practice it also. Once again, segmenting. You see what I just did there? That's the kind of practice that I find so effective when I'm showing you there. Your hand can do that all day long because it's easy. And you train your hand to do this one. Then you put them together. And that's a great way to work out this passage and other passages. And finally, you come to the grandiose coda, which is a lesson all into itself on part 3. And it's got a roaring ending. And this is one of those iconic codas in all of Chopin. And it's a phenomenal coda too, isn't it? How many of you love this coda? Let me know in the comments. Once again, the thumbs up if you like these kind of videos. I'll make more, and let me know what music you want a deep dive into like this, and I'll make it for you if we get enough people who are on the same page. Again, I'm Robert Estrin. This is livingpianos.com, your online piano resource. I hope you enjoy these videos. Let me know. We'll see you next time.